Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is April 8th, 2014. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. We're going to start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures, and what you're going to notice is that the futures are trading slightly higher on the session. They're up by about three quarters of 1 point. Make that 1 point right now to around 18.39 per contract. So they have come off the worst levels of the morning, put a little bit of a low in around 7 a.m. The one thing I do want to point out, though, today is that the dollar yen is getting beaten down in a big way. And when dollar yen goes lower, it's very, very difficult for the stock markets to rise. Right now, the dollar yen in the overnight session has really crumbled. You could see here, really beginning around 10 o'clock last night, the dollar yen is just completely sold off. Right now, it is trading lower, I believe, by about 82 cents. So as the dollar yen goes lower, expect the stock markets to fall. If the dollar yen catches some kind of a bid when the stock market opens up at 9:30 a.m., then I suppose the stock market maybe can get a little bit of a bid from an oversold condition. But other than that, I don't really see a lot of strength in this market, but I do see a lot of weakness in the dollar yen. And later we'll get to gold. Gold is making a big move today. But very, very important to keep that dollar yen chart up and see its reaction once the U.S. markets open up here at 9:30 in the morning. Now, across the pond in Europe, Europe is selling off really across the board for the most part. You do have all the European indexes lower. I believe the German DAX is down about 0.8%. The FTSE 100, remember, they can print their own money. England is separate. They have the Bank of England. They're down about 0.9%. And I believe Spain is down 1.75% today. So we're seeing pretty good sell-off across Europe this morning before the opening bell, and we'll see how that all plays out. Let's get into some stocks in the news. First thing I want to point out, there are a lot of upgrades and downgrades today by a lot of firms, and I'm not sure why we see that. Generally, we normally will see that really right in the week of options expiration, but we are seeing it today. There's not a lot going on out here, but we are seeing a lot of upgrades and downgrades, so you could take a look at that stuff for yourself. I'm just going to go over some stocks that I see moving. The first one is this ticker symbol GIMO, Gigamon. This stock closed at 26.20. It is now trading at 20.50, so you can see that big sell-off there. Now, this stock is very, very oversold. I cannot find a good level to save the life of me, and I've been looking for one because I like stocks that are beaten down like this to buy it, but I just really don't have a great level to give you. So this is one we may trade in the chat room today, but honestly, I can't give you a good level on it because it's an all-time new low. The stock debuted back in 2013 at around a low of 26.40, and we're well below that level now. So it's very, very difficult to try to find a good level for this one. I'm just going to say keep it on your radar today. We'll start to look for a bottom in it somewhere, but it is not a stock I could point out a good level on. So nonetheless, stock is down a ton. It's down over $6, but it's really a difficult equity to find any kind of a bounce level for because of its new low, and it's never traded down here at these levels, and it's just a tough one. All right, let's move on to CTRP. CTRP looks like they are trying to sign some type of deal with Baidu. Stock closed at $50.25. It's trading at $52.34 here, as you can see. The stock really, in my opinion, still has a ton of resistance around 55, 55.5. So again, be a little bit careful with CTRP here. Don't think the news is all that sensational, even though they are inking a deal, or supposedly going to ink a deal with one of Baidu's subsidiaries. I don't think the stock goes much above 55, so keep that on the radar. Citigroup is in the news today. It looks like they're going to pay a fine. I believe they're paying out $1.2 billion or $1.1 billion to settle a lawsuit related to the mortgage-backed securities crisis back in 2008. I'm not sure. I guess the bank's going to take a $100 million charge against the first quarter earnings, but in my opinion, that's when stocks come out with news like this, it's usually good news that they're going to pay the fine, and that's one of the reasons. But I really don't have a great level on Citigroup right now until we get down to around $44. So there's not much I would do with it at the moment. But normally when stocks come out with such bad news like this, it's usually good for the stock because they've got that out of the way. Again, I don't really have a level till $44. So if it gets down to 44, great. If it doesn't, maybe it holds up here. Maybe it even bounces from current levels. I have no idea, but the only level I would look at it would be around 44 bucks. I'm going to talk about Starwood Hotels, STWD. It looks like they're doing a share offering. Stock is getting hammered on that news. It closed at 23.19. It's now trading at 22.39. The only level I see for Starwood today would be around $20.30. If it got down there, I do like the stock for a long play. Could even be a multi-day long. So we'll keep that one on the radar. STWD, if it gets down to around $20.30, there could be a long play there, and I think that could be a multi-day long play. So again, that's one to keep on the radar today. Right now the stock's trading at 22.38. Still got a long distance to go before it gets to 20.30, but 20.30 should be a solid level for Starwood going forward. Kicking off earnings season tonight after the closing bell will be Alcoa. So keep an eye on this one. Right now the stock's trading at 12.47. I have no idea what they're going to say or do. I really, stock's kind of has been in quite an uptrend really since September. So it's been a strong equity, and it's still above its 20-day and 50-day moving averages. So it's still a strong stock, but I have no idea how it's going to react once earnings come out. Again, I don't think it's that important of a stock any longer. It used to really be a bellwether. These days it really isn't. So again, it just tells us that earnings season is underway, and then we'll get JP Morgan and Wells Fargo to report earnings this coming Friday, and then we'll start to get a lot more earnings to be released after that. So let's see how that all plays out going forward. But really, that's about it on my radar screen this morning. I'm not really seeing a lot. Let's get into the gold market today. I'm going to jump right into the GLD. First off the bat, you do have spot gold, which is gold futures, trading up about $13 to around the 13.11, 11.25, 11.50, 13.11 area. The GLD, you can see here, trading around 126.28. Again, weaker dollar yen, gold should trade higher. So good pop in gold so far this morning. We'll see if it can stick throughout the rest of the trading day. Again, if dollar yen starts to creep up a little bit, sometimes some strength will come out of the gold market. So that's very, very important to note. But so far, gold is getting a pretty sizable pop. If you take a look at the gold mining ETF, which is the GDX, you can see a pretty good pop there too. That closed at 24.26, trading at 24.75. So a nice little 50-cent bounce there in the GDX. But again, dollar yen gets weaker. Gold miners should catch a bid, should be a little bit stronger going forward. Let's take a look at the oil market today. Today you have light sweet crude trading up $84 to 101.29 a barrel. And again, this is really more about the Ukraine-Russian crisis than anything else. It looks like potentially a civil war could break out in the Ukraine, and if that happens, I suspect it could put an underlying bid in the oil market. So again, light sweet crude trading up about 85 cents to 101.28, but we have the USO here, which is a good proxy for trading light sweet crude, trading at 36.50. Did close at 36.28, so a decent little uptick there. Oil is just very, very choppy and sloppy right now. If the USO did come down to $35, I think you could scalp it. Other than that, it's really in no man's land. It's really just chopping around, slopping around, and who really knows where it's going. So we'll have to wait and see how this all shakes out and plays out. But nonetheless, right now, from what I'm seeing, oil could be very, very volatile just due to the fact that you do have all of these geopolitical events taking place, especially in Russia and the Ukraine. So we'll see how that all shakes out going forward. But just to reiterate and get back to the futures here, you're going to see that they are trading up about a point. We don't want to make too much out of it. We'll see how this market trades once it opens up. Again, it's only 8:48 in the morning, and we'll see where this shakes out. But any way you slice it or dice it, right now, futures are up a point, and we'll see if they can stick. If the dollar yen gets a bid, maybe that'll help lift the futures. Dollar yen falls lower, expect the futures to go lower. That's pretty much everything that I'm seeing. With that said, everybody have a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts.